The stock market is where the action is right now. The tech stocks have been ripping recently. Today we're seeing a big drop after the non-farm payrolls number, as it shows. Honestly, it was a really strong number, and so investors are now worried the Fed is going to go back to hiking aggressively because it's so strong, and the markets don't like that. It's funny because you'd think like a strong number, oh, the economy's great, like yay, the market should go up, but instead it's selling off today on that because the Fed is going to be tougher. But for me in crypto, I haven't really entered a new trade in a couple weeks.
Word.
I was taking some profits on the recent rally off of the 2017 highs, but again, my gains kind of are the same. It's like, in a bear market, when you go long, you can't be too greedy, right? So I look for 10%, and really in crypto, 10 or 15% is not that much. But in a bear market, I found that it lets you rebuy basically at the same or a better level afterwards, which is really the best, right? I mean, if you could just buy at 20,000, sell at 22, rebuy at 20, sell at 22, you can just do all these fun rinse and repeat type trades. And that's really in a bear market what you got to do. I think a lot of people, they get stuck on that kind of like, oh, crypto went to 69,000 last year, so maybe in a couple months it'll go back there. But a bear market will kind of make you pay for that mentality in the near term.
Ethereum today going through a huge change, coming up sooner rather than later. The merge.
The merge.
What are your thoughts on the merge?
It's interesting. Obviously, it's great to go proof of stake from proof of work, right? For all the environmental reasons. Then with 1559, you're going to potentially have deflation, right? So that brings up an interesting corollary: inflation versus utilization. Because as utilization goes up and the value of a token goes up, then the cost to do something goes up. And so you have these two competing interests. Hey, I want to create an app that generates 1 million NFTs a day, right? Just picking something out of left field, right? I'm not saying there is one. Well, if the value of Ethereum keeps on going up because there's a deflationary spiral going on because of 1559, now all of a sudden, where's the equilibrium? And then there's the question of all the stakers with staking ETH, right? With now there it's staged on when they can get out, but will they, and how quickly, and what happens to the staked ETH, along that period of time.
You'll see a chart and it'll be coming into resistance, and you're like, oh, well, that's it should pull back here, and then the next day after it touches that level, there'll be some news that coordinates with it, and that's the beauty of it. I always think it's good to know the news. Like, I always want to be informed, but I oftentimes use the news as like, what are the masses thinking? What are the masses being brainwashed with? And then you can use it as a contrarian indicator where, like, if everyone's insanely bullish and everyone's pumping something, start looking at the short side, look for those resistance points and start thinking about selling into it or something like that. So it's definitely the beauty of the charts is that they do kind of guide you in the direction even before the news hits.
This is ETHE. And you're like, what's ETHE? Well, that's the equity markets version of ETH, right? So if you don't want to open a Coinbase account, you trade ETH in your Schwab account, this is how you do it. Now, this is a complicated study, but the most recent example is pretty good, right? You have winter, spring, summer, fall. And believe it or not, whatever ETH does into the date that the seasons change, it does the opposite during that season. So it topped in the spring in March, right? Had this like apocalyptic liquidation. Then summer comes along on June 20th, right? So if it's down in the spring, right, it should be up in the summer, right? All the way out until the fall equinox in September. Now I realize, we're just showing one part of the chart. There's actually a study behind this, but up in September into fall, right? More than anyone thinks, like, I don't know, how about like E3000? And then once you get to the fall equinox on the 22nd of September, or maybe the end of the month, exit. And I'll give it to you quickly, right? This is why you should exit.
My thoughts on Cardano are the exact same as they are on Polygon and Ethereum. Business walks and it's just, there's got to be a there, right? And you can go to Coinmetrics, you can go to all these different places and look for transactions. And I guess the people in Africa are not using it as much as they expected to, because you don't see the transactions, you don't see the fees, and the crypto, I use cryptofees.info a lot, right? Just to get a sense of what's going on. It's just quick and easy. But I look at number of transactions, and to me, that's the bellwether of success. And now they can be distorted, and you've got to smooth it out, because somebody comes in for a play to earn game. Let's talk about play to earn too at some point, because that's important right now. Because I think that's completely misunderstood and misapplied.
When you're trading with leverage, that's a whole new ball game. I don't personally trade with leverage. Even in stocks, I do use leverage in stocks, like 2-to-1, and day trading you get 4-to-1. But I mean, I don't even know how people do like 100 times. I mean, that's just, the margin for error on 100.
Yeah, I'm a big hater on cross leverage. I unless you're like really know the math, and even then, it's really you're better off just going with isolated instead. Just being like, okay, I know what I'm going to do 5x, and I can max it out on that. So okay.
Yeah, I think like 5x is reasonable, but yeah, I think you're so smart in terms of like hating on it, because think about a pro, right? Like I consider myself, I've been doing this 20 years. I've been trading stocks mostly. Now I'm in trading crypto, and if I don't feel comfortable, doing a great setup that I think has an 80% chance doing even like more than 2 times leverage, like what are the odds that someone that has almost no experience is going to be profitable doing 5 or 10 times leverage even,
Someone comes in with one application, like on Polygon, some play to earn games came in and they were subsidized by investors. Everybody dove in to try to get some of that money. And then they dove right back out. And so, smoothing it out, I just don't see where Cardano has had much of an impact at all. They got their smart contracts, a year ago, and that was going to be the inflection point. Inflect away, Cardano, I just have not seen it. Now, that doesn't mean, look, I talked about it for Ethereum, for Polygon. If the next great application that everybody wants to use is on Cardano and you have to buy ADA, that's great, right? The door is open for that to happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
I would just say in bear markets, everyone realizes that thought they were a genius in a bull market that they're not, right? So use that and improve yourself. So get educated, learn different techniques that you can, everyone here on this panel has used different techniques to kind of give people insight. And I think that's the key, is just get educated. I recently launched a 3-course trading, basically hardcore educational package. So if you want to check that out, check it out at verifiedinvestingcrypto.com. But get educated, people. It's so important.